Mrs. Simmons? Mrs. Simmons is my mother, but she has guests this afternoon. Who wants her? Oh, just a minute. Hang on, just a minute. Psst, Mother! Psst, Mother!
Yes, dear.
Telephone.
Oh, no, dear. Not with all of them in there saying I'm busy.
But Mother is the society editor of the Evening News Beat.
Ooh, the society editor. Oh, she's very important. Good afternoon, Miss Ellery. This is Vada Simmons. Yes, tea and reception for the members of the Wednesday Forum. My mother, you know, the late Marcella Pinney Dowd, pioneer culture leader. She came here by axiom as a child, and she founded the Wednesday Forum.
Myrtle, how many would you say? 75 of these. Say 100.
75. Miss Tewksbury is a soloist, accompanied by Wilda McCurdy, accompanist.
Come on, Miss Tewksbury is almost finished with her number.
She'll do an encore.
Why did they don't give her a lot of applause?
I've known her for years. She'll do an encore. You might say that I am entertaining, assisted by my daughter, Miss Myrtle May Simmons. What color would you call that?
Rancho Rose, they told me.
Miss Myrtle May Simmons looked charming in a modest Rancho Rose tone cream, picked up with the girdle with a touch of aqua. I wish you could see her, Miss.
Charlie's place? Is Dr. Chumley anywhere around there? He was there with Mr. Dowd earlier in the evening? What? Well, don't bite my head off! That man was mad. He said Mr. Dowd was welcome anytime, but his friend was not.
That's Mr. McNulty, the bartender. He thinks a lot of me. Now let's all go down and have a drink.
Wait a minute.
Mr. Dowd?
Yes, my dear. May I hold your hand?
Yes, if you want to. Poor Mrs. Chumley's so worried. Something must have happened to the doctor. Won't you please try and remember something? Something that might help her, please?
For you, my dear, I would do anything. I would almost be willing to live my life over again. Almost. But I've told it all.
You're sure?
Quite sure. But ask me again, won't you? I liked that warm tone in your voice just then.
So did I. Oh, nuts.
What?
Nuts!
Oh, I must be going. I have things to do.
Mr. Dowd, what is it you do?
Well, Harvey and I sit in the bars and have a drink or two and play the jukebox. Soon the faces of the other people turn towards mine and smile. They are saying, "We don't know your name, mister, but you're a lovely fellow." Harvey and I warm ourselves in these golden moments. We have entered as strangers. Soon we have friends. They come over, they sit with us, they drink with us, they talk to us. They tell us of all the big terrible things they have done, of all the big wonderful things they will do, their hopes, their regrets, their loves, their hates, all very large, because nobody ever brings anything small into a bar. And then I introduce them to Harvey, and he is bigger and grander than anything they offer me. When they leave impressed. The same people seldom come back. But that's envy, my dear. There's a little bit of envy in the best of us. Too bad, isn't it?
How did you happen to call him Harvey, Mr. Dowd?
Harvey is his name.
How did you know that?
Now, that's a rather interesting coincidence, Doctor. One night several years ago, I was walking early in the evening along Fairfax Street, between 18th and 19th. You know that block?
Yes, yes.
I had just helped Ed Hickey into a taxi. Ed had been mixing his rye with his gin, and I felt he needed conveying. I started to walk down the street when I heard a voice saying, "Good evening, Mr. Dowd." I turned, and there was a stray white rabbit leaning against the lamppost. Well, I thought nothing of that, because when you have lived in a town, as long as I have lived in this one, you get used to the fact that everyone knows your name. Naturally, I went over to talk to him, and he said, "Ed Hickey is a little spiffed this evening, or could I be mistaken?" Well, of course he was not mistaken. I think the world and all of Ed, but he was spiffed. Anyway, we stood there and chatted, and finally I said, "You have the advantage of me. You know my name, and I don't know yours. Right back at me, he said, "What name do you like?" Well, I didn't have to think for a minute. Harvey has always been my favorite name, so I said, Harvey. And this is the interesting part of the whole thing. He said, "What a coincidence. My name happens to be Harvey."
What was your father's name, Dowd?
John Frederick.
When you were a child, you had a playmate, someone you were very fond of whom you spent many happy, carefree hours.
Oh, yes, Doctor, didn't you?
What was his name?
Vern McElhenney. Did you ever know the McElhenneys, Doctor?
No.
Too bad. There were lots of them, and they circulated. Wonderful people.
Think carefully, Dowd. Wasn't there someone, somewhere, sometime, whom you knew by that name? Wasn't there anybody that you knew by the name of Harvey?
No one. Maybe that's why I had such hopes for it.
Come on, Wilson. We'll take Mr. Dowd upstairs now.
I'm taking him nowhere. You've made this your show. Now run it. Letting him sit here, forgetting all about Dr. Chumley. Okay, it's your show. You run it.
Come on, Dowd. Come on, Owen.
Wilson!
How did you get out here, Doctor? I just saw you go in there.
I went out through my window. Wilson, don't eat me!
No, Doctor.
Get that man down out of here.
Yes, Doctor.
Wilson, don't eat me!
But you said...
Dumpy on the telephone.
Yes, Doctor. Dumpy, give that guy Dowd his clothes back and get him down here right away.
Wilson, don't eat me!
Just a minute. Judge Gaffney. I wanted to see Dr. Chumley. Hiya, Myrtle.
Hello.
Chumley, we've got to talk. This thing is serious.
It certainly is.
More serious than you suspect. Where can we go to talk?
Not in there.
Dr. Chumley doesn't want you in his room.
No, sir.
Well then, sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, Myrtle Maid.
Sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, little maid. Wilson, don't eat me!
Now then, Chumley, here are my notes. The facts. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can all hear you. Is that good?
Now then, Chumley. Has it ever occurred to you that possibly there might be this thing such as this rabbit called Harvey? Now then, my client, the plaintiff, Miss Vada Simmons, under oath, swears that on the night of November 2nd, while standing in the kitchen of her home, hearing her name called, turns and sees a great white rabbit. Resenting the intrusion, the plaintiff made certain remarks that drove the creature from the room. He went.
What did she say to him?
She was emphatic. The remarks are not important.
How about she got this creature out of her sanitarium? I mean her home.
I hate to have to tell him, Judge. It isn't a bit like Mother.
Quit stalling. Let's have it.
She looked him right in the eye and exclaimed in the heat of anger, "To hell with you!"
To hell with you, he left?
Yes, he left. But that's beside the point. The point is it perjury or is it something we can cope with? I ask for your opinion.
Ruthie, I've been looking all over for you.
Dr. Sanderson, disregard what I said this afternoon. I want you on my staff. You're a very astute young man.
Oh, Lemmy, did you hear?
Oh, baby.
See you later. You just got to keep Uncle Elwood out here.
You don't want this place the way it was before that man Dowd came out here this afternoon.
I know what you mean.
You do?
Well, it certainly gets on anybody's nerves the way Uncle Elwood knows it's going to happen before it happens. This morning, for instance, he told us that Harvey told him Mrs. McIlhenny's Aunt Rose is going to drop in on her unexpectedly tonight from Cleveland.
And did she?
Did she what?
And Rose, did she drop in just as Harvey said she would?
Oh, yes, those things always turn out the way Uncle Elwood says it will. But what of it? What do we care about the McIlhennys?
You see, this sort of thing happens often.
Yes, and isn't it silly? Uncle Elwood says that Harvey tells him everything. Harvey knows everything. How could he when there's no such thing as Harvey?
Fly specks! I've been spending my life among fly specks. Well, Miracle's been leaning on lampposts on 18th and Fairfax.
Good. Nobody here but people.
Mother, you promised you wouldn't come out here.
Well, good evening.
Now, Myrtle May, I brought Elwood's bathrobe. Why are you all just sitting here? I thought you'd be committing him.
Sit down there, girl.
I will not sit down there.
How about you and me stepping out this Saturday night?
Certainly not. Myrtle May, come here.
Sorry.
Is everything settled?
It will be soon.
Doctor, may I give an opinion?
Yes, do by all means.
His opinion, Omar, he's the doctor I told you about. The eyes.
It is my opinion that Elwood P. Dowd is suffering from a third-degree hallucination, and the other party involved is the victim of autosuggestion. I recommend Formula 977 for him and bed rest at home for,
You do?
That's my diagnosis, doctor. Elwood P. Dowd will not see this rabbit anymore after this injection. We've used it in hundreds of psychopathic cases.
Don't you call my brother a psychopathic case. We've never had anything like that in our family.
Mother, if you didn't think Uncle Elwood was psychopathic, why'd you bring him out here?
Where else could I take him? I couldn't take him to jail, could I? Besides, this thing is not your uncle's fault. Why did Harvey have to speak to Elwood in the first place? With a town full of people, why did he have to bother Elwood?
Stop putting your oar in. Keep your oar out. If this shock formula brings people back to reality, that's right where we want Elwood.
I'm not sure to work in a case of this kind, Doctor.
It always has.
Harvey always follows Elwood home.
He does?
Yes, but if you give him the formula and Elwood doesn't see Harvey, he won't let him in. Then, when he comes to the door, I'll deal with him.
Mother, won't you stop talking about Harvey as if there was such a thing?
Myrtle May, you've got a lot to learn, and I hope you never learn it.
Here he is.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Elwood. I brought you your bathrobe.
Thank you, Vita.
What do we do, Doctor? We've got to do something.
Oh, yes, we must.
I should say so.
Yes, it's imperative.
Well, while you're all deciding, why don't we go down to Charlie's place and have a drink?
You're not going anywhere, Elwood. You're staying here.
Yes, Uncle Elwood.
Stay here, son.
I plan to leave. You want me to stay. An element of conflict in any discussion is a good thing. It means that everybody is taking part, and no one is left out. I like that. Oh, how did you get along with Harvey, Doctor?
What do we do, Doctor?
What?
What is your decision?
I must be alone with this man. Will you all step into the next room? I'll have my diagnosis in a moment.
Do hurry, Doctor.
I will.
You stay here, Elwood.
Let me give you this chair, Mr. Dowd. Is there anything else I can get you?
What did you have in mind?
Mr. Dowd, what kind of a man are you? Where do you come from?
Didn't I give you one of my cards?
And where in the faceless title earth did you find a thing like him?
Harvey the Puka?
Is it true that he has this function that he...
Gets advance notice? I'm happy to say it is. So far, there's never been any place I'd rather be. I always have a fine time right where I am, whomever I'm with. I'm having a wonderful time right now with you, Doctor.
I know where I'd go.
Where?
I'd go to Akron.
Akron?
There's a cottage camp outside Akron in a grove of maple trees. Cool, green, beautiful.
My favorite tree.
I'd go there with a pretty woman, a young woman, a quiet woman.
Under a tree?
I wouldn't even want to know her name. I would be just Mr. Brown.
Why wouldn't you want to know her name? You might be acquainted with the same people.
I'd send out for cold beer. Then I'd tell her things I've never told anyone. Things that are locked up in here. Then I'd send out for more cold beer.
No whiskey?
Beer's better.
Maybe under a tree, but she might like a highball.
I wouldn't let her talk to me. But as I talk to her, I want her to reach out her smooth white hand and say, "Oh, you poor thing. Oh, you poor, poor thing."
How long would you like that to go on?
2 weeks.
Wouldn't that get monotonous? Just Akron, cold beer, and poor thing for 2 weeks?
Oh, no, it would be wonderful.
I can't help feel you're making a mistake in not allowing that woman to speak. If she gets around it all, she may have picked up some interesting little news items. And I'm sure you're making a mistake with all that beer and no whiskey. But it's your 2 weeks.
Cold beer at Akron in one last fling. Good man!
Do you think you'd like to lie down for a while, Doctor?
No, Mr. Dow. Would he do this for me?
He could, and he might. I have never heard Harvey say a word against Akron. Oh, by the way, Doctor, where is Harvey?
Why, don't you know?
The last time I saw him, he was with you.
Oh,
He's probably waiting for me down at Charlie's place.
that's it. He's down at Charlie.
Excuse me, Doctor.
No done there, Mr. Dow.
I couldn't leave without saying goodbye to my friend, Dr. Sanderson.
Dr. Sanderson isn't your friend. None of those people are your friends. I'm your friend.
Well, thank you, Doctor, and I'm yours.
And that sister of yours, she's the one at the bottom of this conspiracy against you. She's persuading me to lock you up. She had commitment papers drawn up this morning. She has your power of attorney and the key to your safe deposit box. And she brought you out here
My sister did all this in one afternoon? Vita's certainly a whirlwind, Doctor.
God, man! Don't you have any righteous indignation?
Dr. Chumley, my mother used to say to me, she would say, in this cruel world, Elwood, she always called me Elwood. She would say, in this cruel world, Elwood, you must be oh so smart or oh so pleasant. For years I was smart, Doctor. I recommend pleasant.
Thank God.
Good boy.
Well, let's celebrate. I've got some new bars listed in the back of this book.
I have a formula 977 that'll be good for him. We can't give it to him without his consent. Will he give it?
Of course he will if I ask him.
Give up that rabbit? I doubt it.
Don't ask him, just give it to him.
Bessie's Barn Dance, Blondie's Chicken Inn, Better Late Than Never, Benny's Drive-In.
Elwood!
We'll go to Benny's Drive-In. We'd better phone for a table. How many of us, Vida?
Oh, Elwood!
Mr. Down, I have a formula 977 that'll be good for you. Will you take it?
Elwood, you won't see this rabbit anymore.
But you will see responsibilities, your duties.
I'm sure if you thought of it, Doctor, it must be a very fine thing. And if I happen to run into anybody who needs it, I would be glad to recommend it. But for myself, I don't think I would care for it.
Hear that, Doctor? Hear that, Judge? That's what we have to put up with.
Vida, do you want me to take this?
I'm only thinking of you, Elwood. You're my brother. I've known you for years. I'd do anything for you. That Harvey wouldn't do anything for you. He's making a fool out of you, Elwood. Don't be a fool.
Oh, I won't.
Why, you could amount to something. You could be sitting on the Western Slope Water Board right now if you'd only go over there and ask them.
All right, Vida, if that's what you want, Harvey and I will go over tomorrow and ask them.
Tomorrow? I never even want to see another tomorrow. Not if Myrtle May and I have to live in that house with that rabbit. Our friends never come and see us. We have no social life. We have no life at all. We're both miserable. I wish I were dead, but maybe you don't care.
I've always felt Vida should have everything she needs. Are you sure, Vida? All right, I'll take it. Where do I go, Doctor?
In Dr. Sanderson's office.
Say goodbye to the old fellow for me, won't you?
How long will this take, Doctor?
Just a minute. Why don't you wait?
We'll wait.
Dr. Sanderson said it wouldn't be long.
Now, Mother, don't fidget.
How can I help it?
How stunning. Could you see me in a house coat of this color, Mother?
Yes, dear, but let me get a good night's sleep first.
Come in. What do you want?
I'm looking for a little short. Oh, there you are. Lady, you jumped out of the cab without paying me.
I forgot. How much is it?
All the way out here from town, $2.75.
$2.75. I could have sworn. I could have sworn I brought my coin purse. Where is it? Myrtle, do you have any money?
No, I spent that money Uncle Elwood gave me for my new hairdo for the party.
Judge, do you have $2.75 I can give this man?
Sorry, nothing but a check.
We don't take checks.
I know.
Dr. Chumley, would you happen to have $2.75 I could borrow to give this man?
I haven't got my wallet. Look for it now. Gotta get out with the injection.
Well, I'll have to get it for my brother, but I can't get it right now. He's in there to get an injection. You'll have to wait.
You're gonna get my money from your brother, and he's in there to get some of that stuff they shoot out here?
Yes, it won't be but a minute. You'll have to wait.
Lady, I want my money now.
I told you it'd only be a minute. I want you back, drive us back to town anyway.
And I told you I want my money now, or I'm nosing the cab back to town. And you
Of
can
all-
wait for the bus. It's 6 in the morning.
Of all the pig-headed, stubborn things.
I should say so.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing that 275 won't fix. You heard me. Take it or leave it.
I have never heard of anything so unreasonable in my life. Doctor, will you let Elwood step out here a minute? This cab driver won't wait.
Better make it short down.
Elwood, I seem to have came off without my coin purse. Would you mind giving this man $2.75, but don't give him any more. He's been very rude.
Good evening. Dowd is my name, Elwood P.
Lofgren's mine, EJ.
Glad to meet you, Mr. Lofgren. This is my sister, Mrs. Vada Simmons, my charming little niece, Myrtle May Simmons, Judge Gaffney, and Dr. Chumley.
Hi.
Have you lived around here long, Mr. Lofgren?
Yeah, I've lived around here all my life.
And do you enjoy your work?
It's okay. I've been driving with the Apex cabs 15 years. My brother Joe's been driving for Brown cabs pretty near 12.
You drive for Apex, and your brother Joe for Browns. That's interesting, isn't it, Vita? Let me give you one of my cards.
Better get on with it, Dowd.
Of course, 1 minute. Here you are. My sister and my charming niece live here at this address. Won't you and your brother come join us for dinner sometime?
Sure, be glad to.
When? When would you be glad to?
I couldn't come on any night but Tuesday. I'm on duty all the rest of the week.
You must come on Tuesday, then. We'll expect you and be delighted to see you, won't we, Vita?
Elwood, I'm sure this man has friends of his own.
Vita, one can't have too many friends.
Don't keep Dr. Chumley waiting. That's rude.
Of course. Here you are. Keep the change. I'm glad to have met you, and I'll expect you on Tuesday with your brother. Will you excuse me now?
Sure. Sweet guy.
Certainly could have just as well have waited.
Oh no, listen, lady. I've been driving this route 15 years. I've run him out here to get that stuff, and Joe went back after they had it. It changes them.
I certainly hope so.
And you ain't kidding. On the way out here, they sit back and enjoy the ride. They talk to me. Sometimes we stop and watch the sunsets and look at the birds flying. Sometimes we stop and watch the birds when there ain't no birds, and look at the sunsets when it's raining. We have a swell time, and I always get a big tip. But afterwards, oh!
Afterwards, what do you mean, afterwards,
They crab. They yell at me to watch the lights, watch the brakes, watch the intersections. They scream at me to hurry. They got no faith in me or my buggy, yet it's the same cab, the same driver, and we're going back over the very same road. It's no fun, and no tips.
Well, my brother would have tipped you anyway. He's very generous, always has been.
Not after this he won't be. Lady, after this he'll be a perfectly normal human being. And you know what bastards they are. Glad I met you. I'll wait.
Dr. Chumley, Merle may stop it. I don't want Elwood to have it. Elwood, come out of there.
Can't do that. Dr. Chumley is giving the injection.
Mother, stop this!
But I don't want Elwood that way. I don't like people like that.
Do something with your judge. Mother, stop this!
You shush up. I've lived longer than you. I remember your father. I remember my father. I remember...
What's this? What's all this commotion?
What's the trouble, doctor? She sounded off again?
She wants to stop the injection.
You haven't already given it to him, have you?
No, but I'm about ready to. Wilson, take Miss Simmons away.
Get your hands off me, you white slaver.
You don't know what you want. You don't want that rabbit either.
And what's wrong with Harvey if Myrtle May and Elwood want to live with him? It's nothing to you. It's not even your business. You don't even have to come around. Elwood, come out of there.
There, Vita. Vita's all tired out. She's done a lot today.
Have it your own way. I'm not giving up my game at the club no matter how big the animal is.
Let's get out of here. I hate this place. I wish I'd never seen it.
But see here!
It's whatever Vita says, Doctor.
Why, look at this. That's funny. I could have paid that cab driver that whole time. Harvey. Come on, Myrtle May. Come on, Elwood. Let's get out of here.
Well, good night, Dr. Chumley. Good night, Mr. Wilson.
Come along, Elwood!
Doctor, for years I've known what my family thinks of Harvey, but I've often wondered what Harvey's family thinks of me. Oh, there you are. Doctor, do you mind? You're standing in his way. Where have you been? I've been looking all over for you.
Mrs. Simmons? Mrs. Simmons is my mother, but she has guests this afternoon. Who wants her? Oh, just a minute. Hang on, just a minute. Mother? Mother?
Yes, dear.
Telephone.
Oh, no, dear. Not with all of them in there. Say I'm busy.
But Mother, it's the society editor of the Evening Newsweek.
Oh, the society editor? Ooh, she's very important. Good afternoon, Miss Ellerby. This is Vada Simmons. Yes, a tea and reception for the members of the Wednesday Forum. My mother, you know, the late Marcella Penny Dowd, pioneer cultural leader. She came here by ox team as a child and she founded the Wednesday Forum. Myrtle, how many would you say?
75 of these. Say 100.
75. Miss Tewksbury is a soloist, accompanied by Will the McCurdy accompanist.
Come on, Miss Tewksbury is almost finished.
She'll do an encore.
What if they don't throw a lot of applause?
I've known her for years. She'll do an encore. You might say that I am entertaining, assisted by my daughter, Miss Myrtle May Simmons. What color would you call her?
Rancho Rosie told me.
Miss Myrtle May Simmons looked charming in a modest Rancho Rose tone crepe, picked up with at the girdle with a touch of aqua. Oh, I wish you could see her, Miss Ellerby.
Mother, she's almost finished. And where's the caterist?
Everything's ready. The minute she's finished singing, we open the dining room doors and begin pouring. The parlors and halls are festooned with smilers. Yes, festooned. That's right. Yes, Miss Ellerby, this is the first party we've had in years. There's a reason, but I don't want it in the papers. We all have our troubles, Miss Ellerby. Oh, the guest list? Oh, yes.
Mother, please.
If you'll excuse me now, Miss Ellerby, I'll call you later.
Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet just came in.
Miss Eugene Chauvenet Sr.? Her father was a scout with Buffalo Bill.
So that's where she got that hat.
Myrtle, you must be nice to Miss Chauvenet. She's got a grandson about your age.
But what difference will it make with Uncle Elwood?
Myrtle, remember we agreed not to talk about that this afternoon. The point of this whole party is to get you started. We work through those older women to the younger group.
We can't have anybody here in the evenings, and that's when men come to see you, in the evenings. The only reason we can have a party this afternoon is because Uncle Elwood is playing pinochle at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. Thank God for the firehouse.
I know, but they'll just have to invite you out, and it won't hurt them one bit. Oh, Myrtle, you've got so much to offer. I don't care what anyone says. There's something sweet about every girl. And a man takes that sweetness, and look what he does with it. But you've just got to meet someone, Myrtle. That's all there is to it.
If I do, they'll say, That's Myrtle May Simmons. Her uncle's Elwood P. Dowd, the biggest screwball in town. Elwood P. Dowd and his pal.
You promised.
All right, let's just get him into the dining room.
Now, when the members come in here and you make your little welcome speech on behalf of your grandmother, be sure to do this.
And then, after that, I mentioned my Uncle Elwood, said a few words about his pal Harvey. Darren Harvey.
That's right, Myrtle May. Let everybody in the Wednesday Forum hear you. You said that name. You promised you wouldn't say that name, and you said it.
I'm sorry, Mother, but how do you know Uncle Elwood won't come home and introduce Harvey to everybody?
This is unkind of you, Myrtle May. Your Uncle Elwood is the biggest heartache I have. Even if people do call him here, he's still my brother. And he won't be home this afternoon.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
But Mother, why can't we live like other people?
Must I remind you again, we are not living with Elwood. Elwood is living with us.
Why couldn't we have to leave all her property to Uncle Elwood?
Well, I suppose it's because she died in his arms. People are sentimental about things like that.
You always say that, and it doesn't make sense. She couldn't have made out a will after she died, could she?
Don't be didactic, Myrtle May. It's not becoming in a young girl, and men loathe it. Now, don't forget to wave your hand.
I'll do my best,
Oh, dear, Miss Tewksbury's voice is certainly fading.
but not fast enough.
Lovely, Miss Tewksbury. Perfectly lovely. I loved it. With that guest list, I must read to Miss Ellerby. Have you seen it, Miss Johnson?
No, I haven't, Miss Simmons.
Look on my dresser.
Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet is asking for you. Here is Mother, Mrs. Chauvenet. Here she is.
Vada Louise Simmons. I thought you were dead.
Oh, no, I'm very much alive.
And this full-grown girl is your daughter? I've known you since you were a baby.
I know. What's your name, dear?
This is Myrtle on top. And Myrtle May Simmons for the two sisters of her father. He's dead, that's what confused you.
Where's Elwood?
Elwood couldn't be here this afternoon. Now let me get you some tea.
Elwood isn't here?
No.
Oh, shame on him. That was the main reason I came. I want to see Elwood.
Come, there are loads of people anxious to speak with you.
Do you realize, Vita, it has been years since I've seen Elwood?
No, where does the time go?
But I don't understand it. I was just saying to Mr. Chauvenet only the other night, what on earth do you suppose has happened to Elwood Dowd? He doesn't come to the club dances anymore. I haven't seen him at a horse show in years. Does Elwood see anybody these days?
Yes, Aunt Ethel, Elwood sees some